And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good afternoon, fellow friends and futures traders. Welcome to the market recap. I've had a couple of weird things happen, almost like I've got another gremlin here. Hopefully the sound is good this afternoon. We had a little bit of an issue this morning with the sound, and I think we've got things taken care of, but strange things continue to happen. Let me check on something here, and we're going to get started. All right, I think we're all set. Wednesday, June 15th, it was an interesting trading day. A lot like I expected. I'm sure a lot like you were expecting. My name's John. I'm glad that you have survived. And welcome. Thanks for watching. So we got our answer today. 75 basis point increase in rates by the Fed. A couple of things that the Fed, that Powell said in his chair presser. I haven't had the opportunity to read the entire announcement, but Powell says 50 to 75 basis point moves are most likely at the next meeting, 50 to 75 basis point move. Don't expect 75 basis point moves to become common. The policy is going to be restrictive, but we don't know how restrictive. There's a genius statement for us. And our goal is to bring inflation back to 2% while the labor market remains firm. I know of a few of the things that I'll be keeping an eye on moving forward over the next 6 weeks until the next FOMC meeting will be employment, manufacturing, and retail. Got to make sure that manufacturers still have enough money to continue to grow. Retail still has enough money to continue to drive the economy. It's going to be an interesting few weeks here, a few months, maybe even a year. I know we're all hopeful we're not going to fall into recession, and of course that's the desired move from this. The CL crude oil took a dive late to close below weekly kickoff low, but found some buyers back there after the close. It's been a very interesting chart to see there this afternoon. The E-mini S&P and the NASDAQ FOMC brings volatile, thin moves in both directions. No side has been detected or chosen, I don't think, by the longer time frame traders. We got some digestion to do. Crude oil early overnight inventory broad price pretty close to that weekly kickoff low again. The FOMC tests that low, but again finds late buyers in this session. The Euro weekly kickoff low provides support after the FOMC knee-jerk. The 10-year 75 basis point hike appears to have been already in the market. The 10-year really seemed to just kind of yawn in both directions, take a look, and then kind of go back to sleep. And the natural gas begins to create what I think might end up being a bear flag. Hopefully you have been a good trader, a good risk manager, a good patient trader. I talked to a lot of traders today, many of them not even sitting at their platforms, taking the day off, which is just fine. I had a couple of levels in the S&Ps that I was looking for the market to reach before the FOMC meeting. It didn't get there till right after the meeting. I had canceled my orders. I didn't do anything. As always, make sure you hit the lucky like button, comment, question, feedback, heckling, and love are always welcome on the recap today. We're going to see who we've got here today. As always, got to say good afternoon. Tachyon, Scott saw, and he conquered. Tachyon, ready to go back into the trading combine. Just take your time. You know the drill. Do what's been working. Frederico, Bill, Spencer, Found equities totally untradeable today, but it tried anyway. Predictable results. I knew better. Next FOMC, I'll just take the day off. It's not necessarily a bad idea. Everybody thinks it's going to be some great opportunities, some big moves. We had some big moves today, but nothing too directional, and I would have found it very difficult to trade as well. Ricardo, sup everyone, took the day off, went to the zoo with the kids. Nice. That's a day well spent. Chilling with Dylan. Hey, Frederico. Jerry is awake. Sound is good. Thank you very much, Frederico and Jerry. Denise, good afternoon. Spencer, sound is much better this afternoon. I something happened, and for some reason it thought that my microphone was disconnected and I was already on, so I just went to the kind of default that's like on the camera. So I'm glad the sound is better. Great day, speculators. Good. Tachyon. I feel like I subconsciously cripple my trade execution to learn a lesson. Good afternoon, Rick. Tachyon, we all go through that. We all go through periods of time when we just can't seem to follow what we're supposed to do. And we usually do end up learning a lesson. And it's probably going to continue to happen. It still happens to me. I've been at this for a long time. Just get better and better at strengthening those muscles that have you follow your execution plan. Good afternoon, Rick. Love you. Dead letter opener. Love the low volume ranging chop before the fireworks. Some nice opportunities. I'm good. Glad you were able to find some good opportunities, dead letter opener. Steve made a ton holding a short through the Fed announcement and then again going the other way. Overall direction, however, is down big time. For the bigger picture, it most certainly is. Almost changing unchanged. Adam, why are there 5 days without losses in the regulations? You can explain, man, it is not a machine. Everyone can have one ride downhill. I'm not quite sure how to answer that or what that's really about. Maybe we'll have an opportunity to chat at another time, Adam. We don't want you upset. We want you finding the opportunities here maintainable. That's the first I've seen that question. Doesn't mean it's not a good question. To get to 50% of profit 5 days don't have to be consecutive, not that I'm aware of. Thank you, Nick, for hopping in there. Nico, good afternoon. James Swan, you're late. That's okay. It's kind of really late where you are, isn't it? Almost blew up step 2 today, but we're still in it. Same. Next FOMC, staying out. Break-even day for Jerry is awake. And you walked away, I think. Wailed away. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate that. So there's your answer. Just 5 days of at least $100, but they don't have to be consecutive. Then you can get your withdrawal. Anissa, good evening. All right, why don't we 2111. What time is that? 11:11 there. Walked away. Got it, Jerry. I thought that's what you meant. 11:11. Is that right? No. 9:11? Trying to think of military time. Yeah, 9/11. I think. All right. Why don't we go through these charts and be ready for tomorrow? Oh, one more thing. We're talking about watching employment jobless claims tomorrow as usual on Thursday at 7:30 Central. Housing starts and permits also. That's another sector that we're all going to have to keep an eye on with higher rates. We start cutting off the housing boom that we've had going on. I'm sure that's already kind of underway. And then watching manufacturing, we've got Philly Fed tomorrow. These aren't going to be, of course, reflecting the information that we have been handed today. 9/11. There you go. All right. The 5 lucrative days need not be consecutive to be paid. Yes. Yes. So you can have 15 trading days, but if at least 5 of them have to be profitable for at least $100. All right. Let's take a look. So here's the crude oil. We can start with the daily as always. So we've been kind of holding in a range. We are still in rollover. We will more than likely be trading the August contract tomorrow. I'll check the volume in the morning, and we'll talk about that tomorrow in the market forecast. They do try not to get directional during rollover, but they may have to be. This is a potential market state change. I'm not really expecting too much of a pullback in this, but the upside momentum that kind of accelerated from the 11th of May may be starting to slow down a little bit. Now, we've talked about how this happens. There's a range here. There's a range here, and there's a range here. As the ranges get closer together and start overlapping each other on the daily chart, it's one of the things that I start to look at and say, okay, our upside auction may be getting a little bit tired. We may be due for a pullback, but it doesn't mean that the all-time high is in. We don't know how that's going to play out, and we're all hoping for a little cheaper gas and for cheaper crude oil. But weekly kickoff low was supportive yesterday. Was supportive at one point today, and then after the regular trading hour session closed, I think into the regular trading hour session close, we put in another late spike to the downside and closed below an important inflection level. We had a late spike to the downside yesterday that we opened inside of. That's acceptance of lower pricing. We can see that we continued to push price lower in acceptance of that. Now we've got another late spike today. Maybe looking a little bit different than afterwards yesterday, but if we open in the late spike or below it, that may be marking acceptance of lower pricing, and that's going to be even more important tomorrow through the fact that we have moved through an important inflection level. Support, 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 bang, resistance. If we open in the late spike or below, we may be looking at continuation of lower pricing, which everybody, I'm sure, would find welcoming. Here's the S&Ps. Here we are. The knee-jerking around, whatever happens, happens. We do have expiration on Friday, and it is quadruple witching, so there may be some interesting market gyrations on Friday. Here's the 30-minute chart. So Monday morning on the market forecast, we talked about the fact that we know what's coming out. We're looking at the strong potential of range-bound trade, and I think we pretty much set some range-bound trade together on Monday and Tuesday. Today we opened right in the middle of those two ranges. We kind of looked towards the value high from Monday. We kind of looked towards the value high from yesterday as support and resistance levels early in the session. And then the FOMC came out, and we looked lower, and then we looked higher, and we just kind of settled right back to the center, not too far off from where we opened the day. We did close higher today. That's a good thing. We've held weekly kickoff low, which is another good thing. Not saying that the low is in. I think there's still some really hard work for us to do to straighten out this economy, and it's going to be a fun ride as far as traders are concerned. No need to apologize, Adam. No need to apologize. Glad you were here and you got your question answered. And again, thank you to my good friend, Nick Dolby. So here's the NASDAQ. I don't even want to go to the daily. It looks a lot the same, except weekly kickoff low is a little bit further down. The NASDAQ has been presenting as a weaker market. So today we did the same thing. We got a much bigger pullback to the upside than we did in the S&Ps. This is where we started the week Sunday night. So here we go. We just open and fool around, and the number comes out, and we look lower and we look higher, and we closed higher. I don't even know what to think of this. I'm going to have to really do some searching and some investigation after the session today and tomorrow morning to really start to form an opinion of what I think all of this means. We talked this morning about how much information was going to be coming at us today. And when that number came out, when they released, 75 basis points, it's as though everybody had just stopped and canceled all their orders and just waited to see what was going to happen. I don't think anybody was able to digest the amount of information that we were required to digest today to make any good decisions. And I think in the knee-jerk to both directions and the finish of the day, kind of in the middle of that knee-jerking, kind of says that. I think a lot of folks are going, okay, now what? Well, we got more data tomorrow. Maybe that'll give us some direction. Gold. Still, yesterday, the day before, dancing around with weekly kickoff low 1818. Here's where it became important to us today. The market opened, took that one look down below 1818 to come down here and perhaps just to check the naked point of control from yesterday. Didn't quite get the settlement. We had overnight inventory to the long side. That overnight inventory, as I think I said this morning, gave us an opportunity. It gave us an opportunity to look for longs in better trade locations. Quite often, if you think you're up against an important level of inflection, the market gets too far away from you in the overnight session. Sometimes the market, these overnight longs will do what you ask them to do. They'll bring price back to a better trade location for you. Unfortunately, the majority of the volume today was actually after the regular trading hour close in gold, which by all intents and purposes is 12:30 Central. Those guys in the pit in New York had a good thing going. They traded from 8:20 to 1:30, and then they were done. So we did get some push to the upside after the FOMC information. Euro still really just kind of dragging along the bottom here. We took a nice little test below the weekly kickoff low, testing down to these swing lows. No sign of acceptance down there. Very swift rejection. And right back into the 1, 2, 3. Tomorrow going to be the fourth day in this area of balance. Here's the 10-year. Obviously, the announcement today baked into price. You're kind of heading the opposite direction with rates going higher. Maybe some short covering there. But again, we opened in range and in value. We never even left range from yesterday. This was not a volatile situation here for the 10-year. And the natural gas. We had a dead cat bounce coming in. We got another dead cat bounce coming out. Here's the big move, the dead cat bounce. What makes me believe this may turn into a bear flag is we've moved price lower, contrary moves, narrow ranges, low volume. I'm going to put a couple of trend lines on this tomorrow, and I'll be using those if I were trading natural gas for a potential continuation to the downside if this bear flag breaks. So, well, we got that out of our system, for the next 6 weeks. We have to see what happens. Let's see, it's June in the July FOMC before we have to do this again. Don't forget, it is expiration in the equities on Friday. We are looking to change our our operations here in gold to August. Just looking. So the July contract had 274,000 so far today. The August contract, 183,000. I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're probably going to be looking at August tomorrow morning. What happened on this day in history? I gotta scroll here. King John puts his seal on the Magna Carta, 1215. I think I'm related to him. There's some kind of cool stuff here. 1775 on this date, George Washington is assigned to lead the Continental Army. 1776 on this date, Delaware declares independence. As far as music is concerned, a couple of classics. Today's Waylon Jennings' birthday. He was born in 1937. 1941 today is Harry Nilsson's birthday. Harry Nilsson is one of the more prolific songwriters of the 60s. He was good friends with, I believe, Keith Moon of The Who. They both had a penchant to party, and I know that they had a few wild nights together. 1969 on this date, during a short 5-day UK tour, Led Zeppelin appeared at the Free Trade Hall, Manchester, England, supported by Bloodwind Pig and the Liverpool Scene. This was just as the Led Zeppelin album was going to be coming out. 1974, ABBA jumps onto the scene with their album Waterloo. Duran Duran's debut album came out today in 1981, which reached number 3 on the UK chart. Steve Walsh, the member of the rock band Kansas, it's his birthday today. Ice Cube's birthday. He was born in 1969. He's my age-ish. Oh, my goodness. So in 2016, on this date, Led Zeppelin guitarist Jimmy Page denied stealing the riff to Stairway to Heaven, which he took the stand at a copyright trial in the U.S. The band were accused of lifting the opening guitar line from Taurus, a 1968 track by the band Spirit. Page testified he never knew or heard of the song or the band. He did, although admit to owning several Spirit albums, but only remembered buying 2 of them, neither of which contained Taurus. I'm going to have to check that song out, see how close it really is. But when it comes to music, when it comes to so much, we're all just borrowing pieces of things from each other. There's only 12 notes in an octave, so how much can you do with that? I think quite a bit. I saw Goodness here. Good afternoon. I saw Eric Hoagland here. Good afternoon. Eric Hoagland. Speaking, I believe, German. Guten Abend. That's almost the extent of my German, except for Wie ist das Wetter heute? Collective consciousness is real. That letter opener. All right. It's Wednesday. I feel like it's been a long week already. Even if you don't participate in days like this, I find that they are energy and emotion vampires. So get some good rest. Tomorrow is Thursday. There won't be a recap. They're going to be going back to doing the podcast with Dan Hodgman and my good friend Jack Pelzer. So tomorrow morning, we will be having the forecast and Make Hogue Money again tomorrow. I'm going to put a link in if you have not registered. You can register at this link, and I always look forward to these. I think we have a lot of fun. Tuesdays, I thought the trading was good, but the conversation was amazing. So I'll look forward to seeing everybody there. I think that's going to be just about it. Have a good night. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to each other. Keep praying for peace. And get some good rest. We'll see you in the morning. Yep, quad witching is Friday for sure. It's a good time to trade ZN. Ah, okay. Thank you, Norman. I didn't have time to kind of copy and paste that so I can understand. Appreciate that, Norman. All right. Trade well, everybody. Yeah, if you are going to be trading tonight, make sure you keep your powder dry. And, more information, more opportunities for us tomorrow. Today, not a lot made sense. To me, to many others. If you had a good day, great. Wonderful. Glad to hear it. Tomorrow, maybe things will be a little bit more clear for us. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bad channel.